please take him to put again on the translation room.
Wow, everybody. I hope everybody is ready for an incredible day. Make sure you have your notebooks. Make sure you have the site for the app. So we're gonna have, the app allows us to have not only an English, but Spanish version of the book, 45-second presentation by Don Failla. And also we have audio versions in the app. So it's a quite robust thing. You have all of the things, and you can send out the first 4 chapters of the book to anyone you want. So we're going to be explaining that later today with Don, but I just want to share Alan Nagao here from, well, originally Honolulu, Hawaii, now in Buena Park, California. Had years of business, 30 years of business, first in the kite industry and then in yo-yos. Sold 30 million yo-yos globally and retired at 39, making $1 a yo-yo, but was absolutely bored, or actually in bad habits, I should say, right away. And I started my new skin enterprise after 5 years of retirement. And I was really not successful. I took a long time, 2 years. I was working on this new skin business. I was a lapis executive for 14 months. But then I got really clear that I wanted to do something great for the world with Nourish the Children. I started to go full-time with Nu Skin. And the minute I went full-time, I decided to do the 3 threes consistently every day, including Sundays. And within a few months, I went from my Ruby to Blue Diamond. 1 year later, Team Elite, and 1 year later, I was one of the fastest growing teams in the world. Well, during that time was where I met the book, 45-second presentation by Don Failla. And I gotta say this, that most, I think, network people have read every book and have tried about everything. I was not one of those. I really concentrated on 3 main books: Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, The Greatest Secret by Og Mandino for mindset training, and Don Failla's 45-second presentation. And I read it, reread it. I was able to do all of the presentations, the napkin presentations. I taught it around the world so many times. I mean, I've taught every napkin presentation, and it has completely changed my Nu Skin business. It was so incredible. So now I am a 15-year Team Elite, and I attribute it to this book, the 45-second presentation by Don. And I'm going to introduce him right now. He has sold over 9 million copies of this book globally. It is in, I don't know, 37 languages. And I'm sure bootleg copies even more than that. And we are just so happy. It's the first time I'm having him on our program, and you know, on our Zoom, and I'm sure we're going to have over 1,000 people here on Zoom, but we also are on Facebook, and we're going to have it posted for the future. So anyway, and we are recording in Vietnamese and in Spanish for you today as well, Don. So any of the materials, you're welcome to it. Okay.
Ready to go?
Yes, we are, Don Failla. Let's give him a big hand. Thank you.
Let me start off by saying that we started we've been in the industry for over 50, well over 50 years. However, we started with the company we've been with now, which I won't be talking about them, of course. 24 years ago, we started with 4 people, one in Sweden, one in Norway, one in Italy, and one in Germany. And we have had now over 1,200,000 people come into the organization, and 95% of all those people came from those original 4 people. So does this answer the question, do you have to sponsor a lot of people to build a large organization? Well, obviously you don't, because it's not about recruiting people to sell for you, it's about sponsoring and teaching. And by the time I get through today, I'm going to teach you our simple system, which you'll be able to teach a brand new person enough information in around 10 to 15 minutes so they can actually start sponsoring and building a business. And it is so simple when you hear it. You'll notice that I have a hat on. It says, own your life, okay? Now, somewhere along the way, these hats are going to be available to people all over the place. However, but until you have one, or we have a pin that I have on my collar that says own your life. And basically what that stands for is having time, money, and health. And if you're not wearing the hat or the pin, but you're in a conversation with someone you know or someone that you've made a connection with, all you do is you say, hey, have you ever thought about what it would be like if you could own your life? Now they're going to look at you kind of funny, like, because they don't really know what you mean. And you say, well, it stands for time, money, and health. And you realize that most people don't even know one person that has all 3. And it gives these people something to think about, okay? Time, money, and health. Now, young people, millennials, if they're making $60,000 to $100,000 a year, you know, they have a little money, but they don't have any time. Okay, their health's okay. Older people, they have a lot of time, but they're running out of money and their health's shot. So it's a simple question. How would you like to have all 3 at a time in your life when you could really enjoy it? So they're all going to want to say yes to that, okay? They say yes to that. Now we've got it to the point, and Jeff Romaldi is going to demonstrate the app after I'm finished here. But now all you have to do is learn that presentation, which takes like 1 minute. And if the person says yes, you send them to your app. And the app will tell, I've got a 25-minute presentation in there that teaches the system on the app. So that's how simple it is. And I'm going to go over the system with you here in just a few minutes. But I want to give you a little background information first before I get it. A couple analogies here. If you owned a brand new Lamborghini or Ferrari, would you let your best friend go for a drive around the block in your brand new Lamborghini or Ferrari if they did not know how to drive? Okay. Now, that's a simple question, and I'd say I'm batting 100% on that nobody would ever do that. Now, Lamborghini and Ferrari, they're hot vehicles, okay? Everybody in the world, I don't care what network marketing company they're in, everybody thinks that their vehicle is the hot vehicle. So what happens is people will go over to a friend's home, and they'll spend an hour and a half, 2 hours, telling them all about their hot vehicle, the company, the product, and the marketing plan. And of course, they get them excited about it, and they sign up. The next day, they go out and talk to what could be their best prospects. And guess what? They are crashing and burning all over the place because, see, nobody taught them how to drive. By the time that person talked to 3 people, they're all ready to quit your business because they don't know how to talk to them about network marketing. see what they're talking to them about, because the way the person approached them is about selling. Okay. I would say that, 100% of the people in the world not in network marketing do not understand it. 80 to 90% of the people who are in it don't understand it. And you'd be amazed how many company owners don't understand it. And see, the main thing that they don't understand is everybody think it's selling. Well, I don't know how it is because we have people in different countries on the call here today, but I would say, like in America, 95% of the people don't want to have anything to do with selling. So if you approach and talk to someone where they think it's selling, they're going to run the other way. So when you approach someone and talk to them about your company, your product, or marketing plan, they think you're trying to sell them something or get them to sell for you. But the bottom line, that nobody has taught them how to drive, okay? And that's what we do. That's what we do. We teach people how to drive before we ever talk to them about our vehicle. Okay, now, something I need to clarify, okay? Something you need to know. 15% of the people in the world at any given point in time are either sick, hurt, or into health. Okay, what I'm basically talking to you about now is your market, how many people that are prospects that you can talk to. So only 15% are really into, sick, hurt, or into health. And that breaks down to 8% that are into health. Okay, anybody argue that? I say, well, measure the square footage of your health food stores in town. Then all your supermarkets in town, you won't have 8%. Stand on your busiest street corner for an hour or your busiest mall for an hour and count all the fat and obese people go by, and then you tell me if people are into health. So here's what's happening today. There are about 2,000 network marketing companies in the world, new companies starting every day, usually started by someone who's a strong sales background. And what they do, they're all making the same mistake, because the mistake they make is they start off by hiring a sales manager. Now, think about it. We're not in sales, we're in network marketing, okay? And, the sales manager has never sponsored maybe a person in his life in network marketing, never built a business in network marketing, and this person just spent a few $1 million getting his company all ready to go and manufacture and the marketing plan, the whole thing. And the first thing he does is hire someone who doesn't know a clue about network marketing. So that doesn't make a sense. So we want to make sure that people understand network marketing, before we talk to them. So going back to the market here, what happens, they're out there trying to recruit people to sell their hot product. We do not recruit people to sell products for us. We sponsor people and we go to work for them. So bottom line is that the people who approach it from the sales standpoint, they have, first of all, a small market of 8%. They have a lot of competition. And guess what? 95% of the people don't want to have anything to do with selling. Okay, so now with our system, how would you like to have a market of 100%? Because see, 100% of the people, they want something that they don't already have. And the own your life, have time, money, and health. 95% want something. The 5% on top, they already have everything, okay? But they'd like to live forever, so we say they make great customers. So our system is very simple. And understand that what I'm telling you now, you don't have to be a salesperson to talk to a friend about owning their life and what they want. So here's the key. You let them talk. You ask them, if you could own your life, have time, money, and health, what would your life look like? What would you want? Now, we know that everybody wants freedom, okay? But beyond that, they want a bigger house, bigger car, more time with their family, thousands of things. But now the key here is you let them talk. See, one of the things that we teach people is we teach our people not to talk, because see, the more you talk, the more they think they can't do what you're doing, or they don't have time to do it. So you let them talk, okay? The more they talk, the better prospect you have. Now you can kind of guide the conversation because you could ask them, well, how do you plan on getting what you want in life? And again, let them talk. Now, see, they already know they're never going to get really what they want in life from a job, from a job. Cannot do it. Now, we're talking about the masses here. So the masses, they can't afford, like a traditional business or a franchise. Now, we owned a franchise, before we got into network marketing. We had an international house of pancakes. We were open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we had 35 teenage employees. That was a nightmare. We had 3 full days off in 4 years. So we know what it means not to own any of our life. However, the masses, they can't afford traditional business. And let me tell you, if they could, you still won't own your life. Because see, what do most people think? And you got to be careful about using the word business, okay? Because what do people think of when they think of a business? They think of brick and mortar, inventories, payrolls, employees, all these different long hours, 10, 12, 14 hours a day. Well, see, network marketing, even though it's a business, it's not like the traditional business. With network marketing, with the company that we have, and all the companies are the same now, with 1.2 million people out there, everybody orders their own products. They get them directly from the company. We don't have to handle anything. We don't have to make out any payroll. Can you imagine having a business where you have that kind of an organization and you don't even have to have a secretary? It's just absolutely amazing. So very simple. Then we simply say to the person, after we've had this conversation with them about what they want, how they're going to get it, we ask them, how do you plan on getting, what you want? We already talked to them, and we tell them that, 100% of the people in the world, well, excuse me, let me just back up. We tell them that the only way that you're going to get what you want in life, for the masses, is in network marketing. Now, notice how that we bring up network marketing right up front. Now, we know there's a lot of misconceptions about it. You're going to run into people that have been in 2, 3, 4, 5 different programs, because every year they're starting over again because they never got, someone never taught them how to drive. So if you've already read my book in the napkin presentation 4, we talk about what your business should look like. Look like the biggest building you've ever seen in your life. And that would represent massive income. But see, you cannot see the building and you cannot see the massive income until you dig the foundation. You've got to have a foundation. And back in the beginning then, when the book was originally written, it was around, you sponsor 5 people, okay? Find 5 people like to own their life. Then you help them, it goes to 25, then 125. You could be there in 3 to 6 months, okay? Now you start to hit bedrock. You're not making a lot of money yet, but you're at a point now where the building is about ready to go up. You go to the next step, it goes to 625. Now the building's coming out of the ground. Within another year, you got 3,125, then 15,625, 78,125. The building is going skyrocketing. People ask me what my #1 recommendation is for a new person getting started in network marketing. And this kind of shocks people when I tell them this. I tell them my #1 recommendation, unless you have a wife that can, or a spouse, because it could be the wife building the business, unless you have a spouse that can support the family, pay the rent, the mortgage, all the bills, put food on the table and so forth, or you have enough money saved up to live on comfortably for 1 to 2 years, you better get a job, okay? Now, you don't have to like the job, okay? Because you have a light at the end of the tunnel. because right now, you know, on a part-time basis, along with your job, you're building your foundation. And once you get the foundation built, then the building will go up, then you can quit your job. So I already told you the most important word is understand. And the next important word is patience. Here again is a problem that salespeople have, because see, they want to get rich like tomorrow, you know, right away. And so it does take a little patience, and because it's not going to happen overnight. And when people understand it, then they stick around long enough so they can start building their business. So bottom line is that, you know, we tell them that it's network marketing, but the problem is that 100% of the people in the world not in it, I already mentioned that, don't understand it. 80, 90% of people in it don't understand it. You'd be amazed how many company owners don't understand it. So bottom line is they need to understand network marketing. And the best way for them to do that is for them to read my book, because when they read my book, they understand network marketing, okay? And like Alan said, the book's already sold over 9 million copies. It's published in all the major languages. In fact, the app is being worked on as we speak in Vietnamese. So bottom line is that, you know, they read the book, they understand network marketing, then we coined the phrase that now they know how to drive. I'll give you a quick history. 10 years before the book was written, I used to spend 3 to 4 hours with each new person, teaching them what became known as the napkin presentations. Napkin, because we'd be in a restaurant, grab a napkin, sketch things out on the napkin for them. And once we had gone through the whole thing with the napkin presentations, they understood network marketing. I did that for 10 years, and we were very, very successful doing the business that way. But I got burned out. I said, Nancy, I can't do this anymore. So we were in Tucson, Arizona with our boys for a tennis tournament. And I made an outline of the napkin presentations that I'd already been doing, you know, for all those years. And when we got back to the Northwest with 14 people in the room, made the first taping of the napkin presentations, and then later did it over again in a studio and condensed it to under an hour. Now, probably the smartest or luckiest thing I've done in my entire life, other than, of course, marry Nancy, is I didn't mention the name of the company that we were with when I did the presentation. So that tape got out into a lot of companies, and within like several months, it sold over 10,000 copies. From the tape, the book was written, and as you heard now, it sold over 9 million copies. So that's the history of the book. Okay, now, once we had the book, it would only take a couple minutes to loan someone the book, okay? And once, you know, they got the book, it would take them, depending on how fast they could read, 1 to 3 hours of their time. Notice it wasn't our time explaining it to them, it was their time. So here we went from 3 to 4 hours down to a few minutes with the book. And then, of course, Jeff's going to explain how it works with the system now, because now you're going to be able to get the first 4 chapters of the book out all over the world in a number of different ways to do it. And he's going to explain that. But I want to tell you.
Can you give me 1 second? I'm sorry. I know that we're like completely full on our site with over 1,000 people right now. So if you guys are on and your team is still trying to get on, let them know. We're gonna post it onto Team Aloha so they can come over there.
It's set up, Alan. We got it. Yeah, it's already set up.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah. Okay. All right, thanks.
Go to Team Aloha.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I love, by the way, I love the napkin presentations, and I memorized all of them. And I have actually all the people that you see on the line coming on. The reason why you're coming on, because I taught them the napkin presentation. And I drew it on whiteboard. I drew it on the back of paper plates. I've drawn it on the back of like cartons, you know, whatever. So pizza boxes, whatever. So thank you so much for all of those napkin presentations. They're the best.
So Alan, you make me feel now like I'm preaching to the choir.
Well, no, I mean, everybody is coming on. I mean, you cannot imagine how many people still are out of the waiting room.
Well, what I'm going to tell you now is going to get your people really excited, okay? When we started, when the book was written, I already mentioned it was 5, okay? Because if you're working the business properly, once you had 5 people, you're helping them get their 5, then you're helping their 25 get their 125. You're working with your downline, supporting your people. And if you had more than 5, you couldn't really handle it properly. Now, a little difference between history and today. In the book, we talk about sizzle sessions. Okay, now, typically, let's say you have 6 to 12 people coming to a sizzle session. Historically, they were held in a restaurant. People would come from, 6 to 12 different directions, driving 15 minutes to an hour to get there. You'd spend an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours at the sizzle session, and everybody would drive home. They get home at 10, 11, 11:30 at night. Now, let me tell you a fact. If you did more than one of those a week, and the spouse was sitting home taking care of the kids every time, then you know why women, hated network marketing back in those days, because the guys were gone all the time, going to these sizzle sessions and meetings and all this stuff. Well, see, now with technology, everything's different. We don't do sizzle sessions in restaurants anymore. Guess what, folks? You're on one. This is a big one. We do them on Zoom. So now instead of doing one a week, you can do 2, 3, 4 a day, okay? So it saves a lot of time. Now, because we're saving a lot of time, you can expand that base of 5 to 6, okay? And then you get that 6th person, you help them go down through, because remember, to be duplicated, you got to be 3 levels deep. And then you expand it to 7, you get it out to 10. Now, what I'd like you to do is write down you, and then under you put 5, 25, 125, 625, 3,125. Okay, now next to the 5, put down 10. Notice the difference is 5. The 10 get 10, you have 100. Next to 25, notice the difference is 75. Okay, 10 times 100 is 1,000. Okay, notice now the difference is 875. And you can complete the math out a couple more levels. When the 1,000 get 10, that's 10,000. Okay, so now you can see how you can do in 2 to 5 years what took us 24 years to do. And, with the internet, we didn't have technology back then, okay? And I'm not talking about recruiting on social media, Facebook. You can get to know some people there, but let me tell you that the people that sign up on the things they see on social media and so forth, so many slick things are coming through the internet. You're lucky if they'll stay with you 2, 3 weeks. What I'm talking about is like what we're doing right now. We didn't have Zoom where we can we're talking to people now all over the world, basically, and without you're leaving your home or your office or whatever. I mean, that's exciting. So we got Zoom, we got Skype, we got WhatsApp, other methods of communicating. And then now, once you get ready for step 3, which is the vehicle. See, once you know how to drive, you're going to want to show them the vehicle. Never show them the vehicle till they know how to drive, or they're going to crash and burn. Okay, so once you're ready for the vehicle, you don't have to drive across town or fly somewhere, whatever, spend a lot of time with them, because you send them a website. All the companies, if they don't have a website, they might as well just not be in business. They have a website that explains the company product marketing plan too. And then if the people have any questions, you can follow up and answer the questions. So anyway, what I was going to do now was I was going to have Nancy come on and do a little presentation, but you can all say a prayer for her because we had to life flight her to the hospital a few days ago and she's still there. She's going to be okay, but she obviously wasn't able to be here today to do her presentation. So I'm going to turn this over to Jeff now. And like when you hear Jeff talk, you'd almost think you're hearing me talk. He knows our material so well, and he's going to teach you mechanically how the app works. And the first time I saw him do this presentation, it just blew me away because we're revolutionizing the entire industry. So thanks for having me, Alan. And
wow, I tell you, thank you so much for coming on.
After Jeff's through, we'll stay around as long as people want to answer any questions and so
yeah, so I want everybody to text in questions if you have questions. One of the things I do want to say is that for us, we're just inviting people to a Zoom meeting. You know, just what are you doing at 3 p.m.? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I want to invite you to a Zoom. I mean, we instead of a company website, because we do like to answer their questions right away.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's our system. But we just bring them onto a Zoom, and all of our leaders are doing Zooms like all day long right now. It's amazing. Yeah. Okay, so we have Jeff on. Jeff, thank you for coming on as well. And we just want to just thank both of you and stick around for the question session at the end.
Sure, thank you. Thank you, Alan. You know how intimidating it is to go after Don Failla? But I'm going to do my best for you guys and show you that we have a real tiger by the tail here. I'm going to start off by just mentioning one thing that Don said. You know, I think one of the key things that Don mentioned is that, you know, now we have 100% of the world to talk to instead of just the 5% that most people are tripping over themselves to talk to. What I mean by that is, you know, most people think that by going after salespeople and recruiting them, all right, that they're going to get rich. But historically, you know, salespeople don't really do all that well in network marketing, not because they're not good at selling or anything, but precisely because they are good at selling. And 95% of the world out there can't see themselves selling. You know, they just don't like to do it. And you might get a customer out of those people, but the problem is that they won't duplicate. And duplication, you know, there's three, I think the most important words in network marketing are what Don said: understanding, and then patience is probably the number 2 word, and duplication is the number 3 word. So if you can't duplicate, well, then you can't really build a business. So now, you know, because the system is so simple, and we always say like an 8-year-old could teach another 8-year-old the system. That's how simple it is. Now, all you have to have is someone who has the desire to build a network marketing organization, have them follow the system. And again, 5% versus 100%. All right, a big, big difference. And that's why you can grow so fast with the system. Now, don't let me discourage anybody out there who happens to be a salesperson, because that's the background I come from. All right. And I did it all wrong in the beginning as well. And my first business in the 1990s, we had a very demonstrable product, and I went out and sold the daylights out of it. I recruited 114 people in the first year. I wasn't duplicated in one spot. And again, duplication is when you sponsor someone and they go 3 levels deep. So your person that you sponsored is 3 levels deep. You're 4 levels deep. You're duplicated. And I had 114 people, wasn't duplicated in one place. Started wondering why this was happening. You know, I heard about all the big money in network marketing and I wasn't making it. I stumbled on the Don's book. I implemented his training and teaching on a weekly basis. Instead of an opportunity meeting every week, I did a training meeting and I taught them what Don was teaching in his book. Within 15 months after I started that, I went from 114 people, not duplicated in one area, to over 3,000 people. And most of those 3,000 came from about 4 people. All right. So it works every single time when you use it, as long as you stay focused and you do it. Now, the system, you do it consistently. Now, just to kind of give you a quick summary of the system, I'll be real quick. It's so simple to teach people the system, because all we do is we talk to people about what they want, or if you can't talk or you're too shy to talk, you can let them read the back of what we call our lifestyle card, all right, to see if they want something. And if they want something, then obviously they have to learn network marketing. So in the old days, before the app that I'm going to walk you through in a second, I would loan them Don and Nancy's book called Own Your Life, have them read the first 4 chapters. They'd look at it, think they could do it in 10, 15 minutes. They'd read it. Now they understood network marketing. We coined that. Now they know how to drive. And of course, once you know how to drive, you need a vehicle to drive. And then like Don said, we just simply would send them to the website, or in the old days, it would be a CD or a 3-way call or whatever is appropriate. It was appropriate then and whatever is appropriate. So again, I just taught you everything you needed to know to build as big of a business as you want. Again, in about 30 seconds, now let me dumb it down to about 4 seconds, okay? You do this to see if they want something. You do that so that they can learn how to drive. You send them to your company website. If that's the only thing you ever take away from this Zoom meeting today, and you don't quit and you stay the course, there is no way you can fail. Because people say, well, how could you be so sure, Jeff? Well, not only by the fact that I've done it and Don's done it and Nancy incredibly, but you know, think about it, folks. I mean, who doesn't want to own their life? I mean, everybody wants a better life. Time, money, health at a time in their life when they can enjoy it. So they read the back of the card, they see on the card that, you know, they don't own their life by our definition. And on the back of the card, as you'll see later, it says, you know, there's no selling of any sort required, doesn't take a lot of time. You know, the 95% of the non-sales type out there, they hear that. That's manna to heaven to their ears. So they're ready to learn how they can own their life. And when they read what's in the book, they're like, wow, I didn't know network marketing was like that. You know, it gets all those monkeys off their back. They learn that they don't have to sell like a traditional business, which they would never do if they had to. That it doesn't take a lot of time, 5-10 hours a week being focused, they can own their life. They learn that it's a $200 billion industry worldwide, that it's not a pyramid. You know, all these things that they didn't know, now they know, and now they want to tell everybody about network marketing. So it completely flips everything around in your favor, stacks the odds in your favor. So a couple things Don didn't tell you. He's too modest to tell you, but I'll tell you, because in my opinion, Don and Nancy are the world's greatest network marketers that ever lived. And the proof is in the pudding. You know, one of the things he didn't tell you was that of the over 1 million people that he has they have in their organization, 95% of them came from the original 4. And every month, about 325,000 people are on an auto ship in his organization. Now think about that. That's at least 6 times larger, I think even more than that, than the industry average. 325,000 people buying product on a monthly basis. He has 600 to 700 people joining his downline and Nancy's downline organization every single day. Every single day, all right? And Don and Nancy live in San Diego. 90% of their downline is 7,000 miles away in Europe, all right? And they don't read, write, speak, or understand English well enough for Don and Nancy to do even, you know, Zoom calls with them a lot of the time. Maybe 10, 20 a year they do. So that kind of begs the question, right? How in the world can you build such a large organization that's growing by 600, 700 people a day almost automatically? How do you motivate those people, you know? Well, that's what's so cool about the system in the book. They never motivated them, so to speak, like the original 4, you know. They taught the original 4 the self-motivators that are in the book called the napkin presentations, like Alan was talking about. And then the original 4, excuse me one second. The original 4, they taught their people how to do it, and they taught their people the self-motivators, and they taught their people, and this huge organization developed. And one of the coolest things about it is Don and Nancy never talked to one person in 24 years about a product or a service first. They just left them go through the system. Again, the system's very simple. I'll walk you through the app in a second. It's do this, do that, send them to your company website. And this organization is basically, you know, he built an organization that every network marketer dreams of, but hardly ever has a chance to do. So let me just share my screen with you here.
And if you could read the card for us, yeah, that would be awesome.
Sure, I'll do that. As I go through, I just my screen kind of went weird here. I'm just gonna try to figure out how to get. There we go. Okay, all right. I'll read that card, Alan, as I actually take you through the app. Okay. Or would you rather read it too? Would you rather me read it right up front before I go through it?
No, just do it your way.
Okay.
And by the way, in the app, he's on video. Ron, you're on video, and it's beautiful. I got to check everything out.
There we go. Okay. Can everybody see my phone screen out there? Give me a thumbs up. You can see it.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, we can see it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. All right. Oh, by the way, before I get into this, let me just tell you, in the old days, no system is perfect. All right. In the old days, you had to buy the cards. I would tell my organization, buy 5 or 10 of the books, and then loan the books out. It would take a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Sometimes, you'd loan them out. Sometimes you'd never get them back. You'd have to buy more books. If you were sending them through the postage or through the mail, you'd have to pay the postage. You'd almost never get those apps back. So when I built my first big business with Don's system, it was a little bit expensive. I spent $75, $100, sometimes as much as $150 a month because of getting the cards and the books, etc. It was well worth it because when they came in that way, they knew how to drive and they duplicated. And a lot of people went on to build dream businesses. But, we just solved that problem now because of the app. Now you can send unlimited cards out, unlimited books out, not only in the readable version, but in the audible version, so that people, when they're commuting to and from work, they can get their PhD in network marketing, so to speak, while they're driving. So now there's no excuse for anybody not to be able to build a business. And it's gonna, what took Don and Nancy 24 years to build that 1.2 million people, there are going to be people now that can do it in 2 to 5 years because of the technology, because everything's speeded up now. See, it's going to go 10 times faster, 10 times less costly, 10 times more fun, all that stuff. So there's a lot to look forward to here, and I'm really honored to be able to show you how it works. Okay, so having said that, and like Don said, it is going to revolutionize the industry. We're already seeing that happen. So if you look at my screen, as soon as I can find my phone here, you see where my Facebook app is right here. Right underneath it, there's an app called, it says Collateral, okay? I'm just going to touch that. And when it comes up, you're going to see this is the main section of the app, okay? I'm going to concentrate just on one part right now, and it's the share with who you care about part right here, okay? Now, obviously, you have to have, if you have a prospect that you want to introduce to the system to see if they're interested in taking a look at your company, okay? There's a lot of different ways to do that. You could have a conversation with them like Don said, or you can let them read the back of a lifestyle card, whatever, to see if they're interested, all right? There's a lot of different ways, all right? But, I like warm, open, easy to talk to people who are, who have integrity and who are industrious. That's who I look for. So let's just say I have someone in mind like that. I'll shoot them out a text that says something like, and you can use your own text, but hey, would you mind if I share something with you just to kind of get your thoughts on it, an idea? Usually 8 out of 10 people, if you have a connection with that person, if they're a friend or an acquaintance, they'll say, sure, go ahead. Or another really good one, and I have this all written down. You don't have to remember this stuff, but it's very important, I think, to open up with a good question. I like, hey, I got a good story. It takes about 30 seconds. It might make you a lot of money. It might not. Would you like to read about it? So I just send a little text. Now, you notice I say text. The 95% of the non-sales types out there, a lot of times they can't see themselves picking up a phone and calling someone because that's, to them, is kind of sales, and it's a little bit, they're afraid of rejection. But most of those people are willing to send out a text, all right? Especially a text that works. And those two really, really, really work. I've done them for years. They work great. So let's just say I send out a text. Hey, got, blah, blah, blah. And they get back to me and they say, sure, what is it? Well, then I go to my app, okay? I go to the share with who you care about section. I pull it up, and you notice there's step 1 at the top of the page. That's the lifestyle card there. That's the first step in the system. There's a little arrow right here, okay? And you just go ahead and touch that. Okay, now to make it simple, I'm gonna actually send the card to my wife so you can see what happens when she clicks on it, okay? My wife's name is Diane. So I'm gonna, at the search at the top there, I'm just gonna type her name in it. Okay, and there it is, Diane Romaldi. I'm gonna touch, you gotta touch there usually twice. And you'll notice that the platform for the step 1 card comes up. And again, this is to see if they have some desire. Without desire, you have nothing. No one's gonna do anything if they don't want to, right? So notice at the bottom, you can send it to their email, you can text it to them, you can send it to WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, or you can copy a link. Like if you wanted to send it to Instagram or something like, or whatever, you can just copy a link. I'm just going to hit text. Okay, and then copy and continue at the bottom. And it's going to go to my, to text my wife in this case, or the prospect, you know, for you guys and gals, all right? Now notice it says there's a default message that gets loaded in there. I don't use that, but for sake of simplicity, I'm just going to let it there. I put in here, here's the information I promised. You know, Diane, have you ever thought what it would be like if you could own your life? You know, please read the card. It'll explain what I mean, and let me know if you'd like to learn more, all right? So I just send it like a regular text. And you'll see it'll show up in just a second. And there's the card. Okay, now I'm gonna have my wife click on that just like your prospect would. Okay, Diane, would you do that please? Okay, thanks. Now watch the top of the screen after she clicks on it. You know, sometime on Zoom, there it is. Diane Romaldi started viewing step 1, all right? So you know that she's reading the card. That's nice to know. That keeps people motivated as you're taking people through the system. I know it does for me, you know? And if you notice, if I go back to my app, notice my app right here. I have 811 people clicking on my links as we're talking. Do you think that's a motivating thing to see people are going through the system and potentially joining your business? Anyway, going back to the thing. So Diane clicked on there. So now I know, let's just say she gets back to me and she says, yeah, hey, you know, that's pretty cool. You know, what's next? Oh, Alan wanted me to read what says on the card. Sometimes the Zoom will freeze if I read the card by enlarging it here. So what I'm going to do is I don't want it to freeze. I'm going to go to my pictures. I'm going to show you a picture of the card. Okay, let's see here. And I'm going to read it to you. Okay? Here's what the card says. This is what I think it means to own your life. When you subtract out the sleeping time, the commuting time, the working time, and all the things you have to do each and every day, most people don't have more than 1 or 2 hours a day to do what they like to do, and then would they have the money to do it? We discovered a way for you to learn how to own your life by building a home-based business, and we have a system to do it that's so simple, anybody can do it, doesn't require selling, and the best part, it won't take much of your time. Now think about this, folks. When they read the top paragraph, okay, almost everybody in the world knows that they don't have the time and the money to do what they'd like to do, that they don't own their life. There's our 100% of the market that we were talking about earlier, and that's what they want. At the bottom in the last sentence, it says doesn't require selling. I mentioned earlier, you know, non-sales types, of which 95% of the whole world are non-sales types, they love that. They go, wow, I might want to take a look at this. I don't have to sell. And then the number one excuse that people use to not get into your business is, I don't have the time. Well, we didn't take any of their time. You know, unlike most people who try to recruit someone, they spend 60, 90 minutes with them trying to sell them on how great their opportunity, et cetera, is. We just let them read a card or have a little conversation with them for a couple of minutes. We hardly take any of their time. So they actually believe you when you send them this card. They go, wow, I want to take a look at this. Okay, so the next step, that's step number 1. The next step would be obviously step number 2. You just go back. I would text my prospect and I'd say, hey, thank you for reading the card. Would you like to listen to some information that will explain, or would you rather read about it? And let's just say that my prospect gets back and says, I'd rather listen to it, because people are commuting nowadays, you know, they're audiobooks and things like that. So listening is very, very popular. I'll go back to the app and you notice it says step 2B audio right here. The first 4 chapters, you go ahead, just like in the step 1 card, you hit that little arrow to the right here. It's going to pull up, you know, who you want to send it to. Again, I'm going to send it to my wife for simplicity here. All right, tap it twice. I'm going to go down to the text message, copy and continue at the bottom right here. It'll put it in the text. And then what I write here, and you can write anything you want, but what I put is, you know, please listen, you know, to the audio. And, you know, after you're done listening, get please get back to us and let us know if you'd like to hear the rest of the story. Thank you. That's it. Very non-salesy. You never want to get like, you're going to love this, you know, in my opinion, anyway, don't do that. You're going to love this. This is the greatest thing I ever heard. See, to the 95% out there, that's kind of salesy, and sometimes that scares them off. So I just say, hey, give it a listen. Let us know if you'd like to hear the rest of the story. All right, thanks. All right, and then I'm going to hit it, and then it's going to go to the prospect. Now, Diane's going to go ahead and click on it. Now, again, watch the top of my phone. And then make sure you hit the arrow then, Di. When my wife clicks on it, it'll come up again, and there'll be a little arrow in the middle. Then okay, turn that off, Diane. Okay, now I'm going to actually bring up because Diane was hearing it on her phone, but I want you to hear the first 45 seconds of this. And what I want you to put yourself in the position of is like a non-sales type of person who wants to own their life, but hates the thought of ever selling, and they don't have a lot of time. So listen to the first 45 seconds of this. It's going to get you very excited, okay? So I'm going to click on it here myself. This is what my wife just saw. See the little arrow?
Preface. The 45-second presentation is all one needs to know to start building a large organization. In fact, if one cannot learn this presentation, they can read it to a friend or put it on a 3x5 card and let their friends read it for themselves. Beyond this presentation, you do not need to know anything. Once you realize this and understand, you can introduce your business to anyone, because absolutely anyone can build a business if they want to. All they really need is a little desire. Without desire, you have nothing. The secret to the system we teach is not to talk. Talking is your worst enemy. The more you talk, the more the prospect thinks they cannot do what you are doing. The more you talk, the more they think they don't have time. Remember, time is the #1 excuse people have for not getting started. After your friend reads the 45-second.
Okay, hopefully everybody could hear that. Now, think about that, folks. The #1 thing that the non-sales type of person is hearing there is, I don't have to talk to be able to own my life, have time, money, and health at a time in your life. I'm in. I want to take a look at this, okay? So anyway, they take themselves through the first 4 chapters. Now they know how to drive. Then obviously they have the icing on the cake is now whatever's appropriate for your particular company. But in my company, we just send them to the company website, and I just get back to them and I thank them for listening to the audio or reading the book, whatever they wanted. And I just said, now I sent you over a link to my website. You know, please, you can learn all you want about the company, the products, the marketing plan, look at whatever you want, have fun. And then please get back to me and let me know if you'd like to learn more or not. Now, you notice how I say learn more or not. We are not looking to try to convince people to get into our business, friends. I mean, that's the worst thing you can do. That's called selling. We're looking for people who want to own their life, and almost everybody does. And when they come in this way, they know they can. So now it's just about desire, you know? So you'll have people all the time, you know, going like, yeah, this is awesome. I've actually had people sign up in my business before they went through step 3, which is actually looking at my company information, because that's how bad some people want to have time, money, and health, you know, spend more time with their family or whatever they want. Now, notice, you know, so no persuading, no selling. You know, when people go through this system, there's no guarantee. We like to tell people it's not a miracle. There's no guarantee they're going to jump right into your business. But you know what the guarantee is? Remember the definition of owning your life: time, money, and health. You didn't have to spend your time. You know, they have to have the desire to walk, you know, take themselves through the first 4 chapters, take a look at your website. And the ones that end up joining you are the ones that are actually going to get in and do something. I mean, isn't that refreshing that you don't have to and once they get in, by doing it, because it's so simple, you'll end up bringing in 2, 3, 4 times as many people. But more importantly, the people, you won't have to talk them into staying in your business every 3 weeks because they came in the right way. What's the right way? Well, they had desire. They know how to drive now. They understand the business. And then the icing on the cake, they saw your incredible products, which, you know, are just incredible. You guys have been around forever. I know that. So that's how simple it is, folks. It's going to revolutionize the industry, but more importantly, it's going to revolutionize your business when you use it. Your retention, that's why Don has 325,000 people on auto ship, because they might not all build a big business, but they don't quit because they know that they have in their hands here something that they can be able to own their life with: time, money, and health. For those people, so some people will have questions after they go through the systems. Well, take care of their questions, however you do that. Three-way call, lunch, whatever you do, Zoom calls. Some people will sign up, great, get them signed up. Some people will just become customers, terrific. Some people won't do anything. Maybe the timing's not right for them. Their mother is sick in the hospital or whatever, and they got more important things on their mind. That's great. But the mindset that you can take when you implement the system is that whatever they do is perfectly fine. That's what makes it so much fun to do it this way. You never have to be praying, dear Lord, please have them sign up in my business. The ones that are ready will sign up. The ones that don't, you put a stone in their shoe. Okay, you know what it's like when a stone's in your shoe. You're walking down, you think it's gonna like get out of your shoe. You don't want to sit down and take your shoe off because it's a pain. Well, what's the stone in their shoe for a person? Well, they love their job when you first left them go through the system. They didn't need any more money. They thought they were doing well, but 6 months later, they lost their job. Now the stone has grown, right? Maybe they come back to you and they go, you know what? Are you still involved in your business? Can you let me go through that again? What if maybe their daughter is a great athlete or something and they're always going on the all-star team or whatever, and that person's stuck at work because they don't own their life? That stone has grown. Okay, so now they want to be able to go see their daughter, their son, or whatever, play their sport. All right, a lot of these people will start getting back to you. I mean, talk about refreshing, building a business this way. So, and you don't need, you only need 3, 4, 5 serious people who actually are using a system that can duplicate, that an 8-year-old could teach another 8-year-old, which is the system that we have right here. And so a couple other things, and we'll wrap it up and we'll open it up for Q&A. As if it isn't enough that you have a system that can allow the shyest introvert to be able to build a network marketing business and own their life, we also we're adding value all the time to the app. I'm going to go back to the app. I'm going to go to the main page. Notice there's a 25-minute webinar by Don at the top. I personally have known Don for decades now, about 23 years or something like that. I watch this webinar about once a week because every time I listen to it, it reminds me of why I'm in the business. And that is so important. It reminds me of the simplicity of everything that we're doing and what I want to talk to people from my heart about. Actually, not talk to them, but just kind of give it to them through the system. And then on the back end, of course, you can talk as much as you want because once they join your business, they're so excited to be able to own their life. That's what that 25-minute webinar will do for you. It's awesome, okay? Underneath that, you see the 45-second presentation audiobook. When you purchase the app, and by the way, remember I was telling you guys and gals, it was $75 to $150 a month in the old days for the cards and the physical book and all that and the postage. Well, it's $15 a month for the app, friends. I mean, in my opinion, that's the best value in network marketing history. It's gonna just revolutionize the industry. And so you get the audio version. There's all 15 chapters. So if, the first 4 chapters is all anybody needs to know to start building their business. But once they get involved in their business, there are some other skill sets that are important. Now they have them available. They can listen to it when they're driving around in their car. For example, where to spend your time, chapter number 8. You just touch on it.
Chapter 8, napkin presentation number 7, where to spend your time.
Okay, and they're broken down in like 2 to 5 minute increments, most of them. So it's real simple to be able to learn a little bit at a time, all right? You also get the entire 45-second presentation ebook. There's a little introduction up there if you want to listen to Don and Nancy's story about how it evolved, but I'm going to go right to the ebook. And by the way, I'll show it to you in a second. You can actually download all these things onto your computer. So if you're talking to someone where you don't have internet access, you can allow them to watch it or listen to it where there's no internet access, which is really cool. But there's the entire book, all 124 pages of pure gold in building your network marketing company. And of course, if you can make it as big as you want. If you reading it on a computer, you can make it really large, and it's really fun. All right, and let's go back to the next page. There's also the lost tapes of Don and Nancy Failla. There are dozens and dozens of interviews that Don and Nancy did over the years. We're just starting to put them into the app now, but you talk about like accelerating the growth of your business by using the app. When you listen to, like, we only have 2 things in there right now, but there are going to be dozens in there. And every time I listen to Don or Nancy do an interview or whatever, I hear it from a different level. And I get all re-excited again. And so will your downline get re-excited. And that's why Don and Nancy don't have to motivate anybody, because these are all self-motivators that are here for you. So as your downline is growing, they're hearing this stuff over and over again, and they're motivating themselves. It's just awesome. And I get so excited when I talk about it. There's going to be a section on Nancy's wisdom. You know, Nancy, we only have 1 thing in there now. There's going to be dozens in there. We're putting it in, maybe 1 or 2 things a week from this point on. You know, Nancy is sort of like the inspiration, motivation part of the dynamic duo. Don is sort of like how things work, the system, the business part. You know, you really need both of those things to build a business. And the combination of Don and Nancy is just invaluable. Nancy is incredible at talking to women. You know, 70% of the people in network marketing are women. You know, so if you have someone on your team that can talk to women like she can, it's huge. Not that she's not great at talking to men as well. She is, but, you know, it's just important that she has that skill set right there, and you can really utilize that to accelerate your growth. You got little old me here doing this presentation for you. If you want to hear it again, you can just pull it up, and the video is right there. So you got Don's 25-minute webinar. You got mine. I say a lot of the same things that Don says, but I also take people actually through the app, like I just did with you guys. And you probably hear it from a different angle a little bit. A lot of people say, oh, when I listen to them both, and I really got it. But really, it's so simple, folks, this system. I mean, hopefully you won't be able to sleep for the next couple of nights once you really get it, because all you have to do, and of course we're doing it on the app now, is do this, do that, send them to your company website, stay focused, don't ever quit, all right? And you can build whatever you want. We're gonna have things on there called self-motivators. Now I mentioned self-motivators, but these are kind of like a little different self-motivators we're gonna add. For example, let me give you one example. 18 or 20-year-old male in the United States, let's just say, you know, what do you think they want maybe more than anything else in life, other than maybe a girlfriend or something like that, you know? Well, we know by the statistics out there that they'd like a car, like a brand new car or a truck. So imagine saying something to an 18 to 20-year-old who might not otherwise be interested in getting involved in a business, saying something like this: hey, if you could see a way to be able to be driving a brand new car or truck in 3 months, would you be interested in watching a presentation that would last less than a minute? Now, what do you think most 18 to 20-year-old males, who most of which would love a brand new car or truck, would say to that? Well, obviously they say sure. All right. Then I have a little 45-second, and Don does too, presentation that I show, that I either do it on the Audible version, I write it down. It works both ways. I send it to them by text usually, and they go, oh man, I got to hear the rest of the story. And then what do? What we always do, because it never deviates. We let them read the card. All right. And this is through the app. I'm just showing you the physical. Have them read the first 4 chapters so they understand that and then we send them to our company website. So where before the 18 or 20-year-old might not have been, you know, too interested, especially in some companies that don't have products that appeal to an 18 to 20-year-old, now they want a nicer car, a brand new truck or whatever, and they'll get in your business, a lot of them. It's amazing. I do it all the time. We're going to have self-motivators for retirees, for big thinkers, you know, people who want to be millionaires in network marketing, for example. There's going to be a lot of different ones, and they all work fantastic, and they'll help just accelerate the growth of the system. So, it works, folks. It's the best value in network marketing history. We're going to be doing Zoom calls. We're going to be doing conference calls, maybe once every couple or 3 weeks or so. You can invite your people to, totally generic, you know, so that as your team's growing and they're using your app, you have better things to do. We'll do things like this, Don and I and Nancy, to introduce them to the app and everything, so that they get the app and start building underneath you, and you build the business of your dreams. And I hope you enjoyed the seminar. I know you enjoyed what Don said. Hopefully the way I kind of talked about it helped you understand it a little bit more. Please, if you'd like to contact me or Don on Facebook, please feel free to do so. We can put you on an email list or whatever, let you know when we're doing these generic type of webinars. You're more than welcome to invite your team, and we can all build this wonderful in this wonderful industry of network marketing together, because it's a beautiful industry. We all know it, but what needs to take place now is the world needs to know it. And there's 130 million people out there that are struggling as distributors. And we have the answer, friends. We have the answer. We can help these people own their life. And they will be eternally grateful to you for doing that as well. So it's really a big mission of ours to change the whole industry for the better. So thank you so much, Alan.
Yes, awesome. I love the explanation. It's beautiful. And by the way, all of that explanation is in the app on those documents. It's really clear. It's very precise and very clear, and we appreciate that. Well, we've been teaching the napkin presentations forever in our teams, and that's why there's so many people on. But I would like to have Don come back and maybe answer a few questions. And one I would love for you to describe is, if you could describe a couple of the napkin presentations that are, you think are the most important, not only to the beginner, but to the advanced people. I'm always talking about 5 across, 3 deep, those things, those concepts, drive the line, those concepts I'm always talking about. But we would love to hear what you think are the most important napkin presentations. And number 2, if you could describe a little bit more on the self-motivators. Love to hear a little bit more on the self-motivators.
Well, I think the 2 that probably are the most important are the one on the numbers, okay? So people understand how the thing, can multiply. Some people are very wealthy now that they attribute their success to the book like you have, and basically what they got out of it was the numbers. That when people understand the numbers, they really get excited. And next to that, the one that I personally like to talk to people about the most, and I did this in my presentation, is the one number 4 on your business looking like a big building, because people can relate to that. You cannot put up the building, which represents massive income, until you dig the foundation. We had a couple condos in Las Vegas for 10 years. And we watched them build the Palazzo. It's right next to the Venetian there. And, that foundation was so huge, working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It took them a year to dig the foundation. I mean, it was just awesome. When they got finished with the foundation, it was so huge, they built a 7-story parking garage underground. That once the foundation got out of the ground, you ever notice how fast these buildings go up once they get the foundation built and they get out of the ground? Well, people can relate to that. And then they start to, we try to, again, understand about patience. It's not, you're not going to get rich overnight. These people that go out and try to tell people that they're going to be rich in 3 to 6 months. I mean, that, if that ever happens, it is very, very, very rare. But now, as far as the self-motivators, these are just basically little things that, when you, like the numbers that I told you be between 525, 125, putting next to that 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, and so forth, that is a self-motivator. Every time you try it, every time you would show that to someone else, it's reminding you what you have. And that's basically what we're talking about with the self-motivators, that things that in the process of telling someone else, it's motivating yourself. And there was a question that came up, I saw Alan on the screen, the Own Your Life book and the 45-second book, same? And the answer is yes, that we did. It was the 45-second presentation and then was changed to Own Your Life. Same book, different cover. There we go. Jeff's.
Alan, you're muted.
Show it again, Jeff. Show it again, Jeff. Like,
Muted.
because I
Oh,
had,
sorry.
I didn't,
Okay,
I
I can't. I'm muted.
show it
A lot of
again.
times this is, let me see if my mute, okay. Yeah, a lot of times this is the one that you'll see, pretty much the same content. This is the updated version. So either one works.
Same book, different cover.
Yep, same book.
So tell us a little bit about the napkin presentations, and give us a little bit of description what you talk about in the napkin presentation.
Well, that's it. You read the book. That's what it is.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I could take 3-4 hours and go over them right now for you, but it's better just to read the book.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Well, one of the things for sure is that I've taught my team to explain the napkin presentations, and that's the self-motivator. Because when you, every time you're saying, you're talking on napkin presentation about ships at sea, or or like the building example, and oftentimes with the building example, I tell people, listen, when you're digging a hole and you start with a shovel and you start digging that hole, people are asking you, what are you doing? And you're saying, I'm going to build this huge building. And they're like, it looks like you're digging a hole. Pretty soon you're underground and they can't even see you. And they go, what the hell are you doing down there? And I am building a huge building. And I think it's about the mindset that I already see this huge building.
Right.
Although I'm digging a hole,
Yeah.
You know, and I too, and Jeff went over the little stone in the shoe, because we have people that literally years have gone by, and finally the stone got so that they've got to do something about it, and then we hear from them.
Yeah,
You know?
well, right now we have a lot of stones in people's shoes with COVID, and people losing their full-time occupations and getting underpaid for their current occupations. Tell us the 4 words that understand and duplication. Just tell us the words that we should remember.
Well, understand is the most important word, because people just do not understand network marketing. They think it's sales. And like Jeff said, that, and when I do a seminar, in front of thousands of people, I tell people that 90% of the people in network marketing spend most of their time looking for salespeople, which is kind of ironical, because salespeople are the people that have the least chance of making it. Well, why would they spend most of their time looking for a person that has the least chance of making it? Because they don't understand. At the same time I say that, I say that salespeople can be absolutely huge in this business, but they got to learn this business. It's not,
You have to understand,
like oil and water. They don't mix. And anything you do that would tell them or make them think it has anything to do with sales, you've lost them. See what's happening in our industry is people come in and they're not taught how to drive, and they might sign up a few people right away because of their friends or whatever, but then they quit bringing people in, and then it's only a matter of time when, because they haven't duplicated, they drop off. And see, and this is what happens to a salesperson. See, you can look at the genealogy of a salesperson in any company, and they can literally recruit, note the word recruit, 50 to 100 people in 6 months to a year. But then you look, like Jeff was telling you, he had over 100 people, hadn't duplicated one time. They might be one level deep, 2 or 3 places, but have not duplicated one time in a whole year. So what happens is at the end of the year, people now are dropping off faster than they can add them. So they think there's something wrong with the company, the product, their upline, whatever. But someone comes along and shows them another. See, they're about the hot deal, right? So they see another hot deal, man, they're off to the races with the next hot deal, and they try to bring their people with them from the first one and so forth. Another year goes by, same thing, because they don't duplicate. So they never build a business. You know, when I tell people, you know, I could be talking to a salesperson and I could say to them, you know, the 100% of the people in the world that are not in networking don't understand it. And the person will say to me, well, hey, I understand it because I've been in 3-4 different companies. I said, well, that's great. If you understood it, you'd probably still be in the first one and you'd be rich by now. You know, it's just amazing. But, you know, salespeople are hard to talk to because they don't listen, you know, but if you can get them to listen and understand network marketing, again, like both Jeff and I say, they can be absolutely huge.
So I truly agree. So the 4 words, let's go over the 4 words real quick. Understand,
Then patience, okay, and then what did we say?
duplication.
Duplication, yeah.
Okay. My mind here. Duplication and then prospecting.
Yeah.
And that's on, when you look at the app, you know, that, you know, I not only say that, but you'll see it, you know, printed right there on the app, a constant reminder. I know what would be kind of fun to do right now, Jeff. Tell them the the Butcher Smith story.
Okay. Jimmy the Butcher Smith is a very, can you all hear me? Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
let me leave my mute.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Jimmy the Butcher Smith is a very successful network marketer. I'll give you the short version. They call him Jimmy the Butcher Smith because for 40 years, he actually was a butcher. He raised 6 children on a butcher's salary, which according to Jimmy isn't that great, especially when he was doing it. He had a really bad back, so he had to retire when he was 56 years old. And some of these numbers might not be exact, but you'll get the gist. At age 62, a friend of Jimmy's asked him to come to an opportunity meeting. And Jimmy said, "What's an opportunity meeting?" His friend said, "Just come along, you'll see." So he was introduced to network marketing and he got involved. And between ages 62 and 74, he was in a whole bunch of different companies. He succeeded in some, he failed in others. And at age 74, he was pretty much bankrupt, I think is what it was, ready to give up on network marketing. And someone loaned him the predecessor video to Don's book. It was I think it was like an hour and a half long, wasn't it, Don, or something like that? You know, and it was all about the napkin presentations. And when Jimmy saw the numbers, 525, 125, 625, 3125, you know, 15, 120, all the way out, it just clicked. He understood the difference between selling, right, and teaching and exponential growth. And from that point on, he went to work teaching people what network marketing was, all right? And between the ages of 74, he got involved in a company, Isogenics, he's in. Between the ages of 74 and 85, I believe it was. And if anybody of you want this, I'll be glad to send it to you. You can contact me on Facebook, Jeffrey Romaldi. You can see my name there. I'll send you, I made a little digital card of Eric Worre interviewing Jimmy about this. But anyway, between 74 and 85, Jimmy and his family, he has 6 kids, I think 3 or 4 of them are in the business, all millionaires. They earned like $47 million or something along that in 11 years, all right? And I was just talking to Jimmy about a week and a half ago, and he's over $70 million in the business, and he gives 100% of the credit to the reason that he stayed in the business and what he developed because of what he learned from Don's book. Now, back in 2014, Don was building a website, and he was looking for some testimonials of people that used his system. Gave Jimmy a call, asked him if he would write a testimonial for him, which he was, you know, obviously honored to do because, you know, that's what he told Don, I'd be honored to do that because it's because of you that I built this tremendous business for myself and my family. And but in the process of talking to Don, he told Don and Nancy he wanted to show his appreciation by taking them on a cruise. All expenses paid, flight, cruise, and everything. And they spent the week together on a cruise. And all Jimmy talked about the entire week with Don was the numbers, the numbers. He didn't talk to them at all about company, this product, nothing. He just wanted to talk about the numbers. And that's what will happen to you when you use the system. Not with everybody, but you'll find those key people. And imagine having 5 to 8 people out there doing that kind of stuff on a regular basis. It's very exciting. Don, would you want to add anything to the story, or did I forget anything?
No, actually, if you go to the www.45thenumbersecond.com, that's our website for our publisher in Europe. And on the home page on the right side, there's a list of testimonies, and you'll see it was the book that he actually wrote the testimony for was our new edition in Europe there. And guy is quite a guy. I mean, just amazing. And, you know, and again, when you look at, when we talk about owning your life, time, money, and health, you know, and the older people have got a lot of time, but they're running out of money. I heard this on the news several months ago. In America, the average person, when they retire, cannot put their hands on $1,000 cash in the event of an emergency. And look at what this guy did after he retired. I mean, it's just amazing. So there's a market out there that is just virtually untapped, that these people, you know, and they're all bored, you know, sitting around waiting to die. You know, they should get involved in network marketing and start loving life.
Alan, would you
Yeah.
a little bit?
I'm sorry, say again.
The word patience is so important. Would you like me to give you a quick example of why?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Before I got on this Zoom call, I was someone in my downline. I was taking him through what's called the power of one. Probably a lot of you understand the power of one, but it's a great example of patience, you know, and how a little bit can add up. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but that's okay. I can send it to anybody who sees it. I don't think I have it. But can you see that okay?
Yeah. It's clear.
Okay. Well, you can see in month 1, this is the power of one. It's just showing that everybody finds one person per month to join their business. And then you teach them a little simple system like Don's system that an 8-year-old can teach another 8-year-old, and it starts to duplicate. So everybody finds just one person. It's not like a big recruiting job. It's a correct sponsoring job, okay? So in this particular example, you got, and sorry for me to see, in month 1, there was this girl I was talking to. Her name was Naomi, okay? I was just explaining it to her. And I said, Naomi, let's just say you ask one person 5 days a week to take a look, all right? Maybe you use that, hey, I got a good story. Takes about 30 seconds. It might make you a lot of money. It might not. Would you like to read about it? And that sets up you sending them through the system, okay? And the first 30 days, she was by herself. The second 30 days, she found her friend Mary. So now there's 2 people in the business. There's Naomi and Mary. And then, of course, you know, Mary teaches Naomi the system. Do this, do that. Send them to your company website. The next month, it doubles again. Now there's 4 people in the business. And then it doubles again the next month, 8, 16. And now you're down there, 32 people in 6 months, okay? If they were all using just $100 of your company's products, services, whatever, and maybe the company was paying 5%, let's just use a conservative figure, you know, Naomi would be making about $150 a month. Now, most of us get paid if we have a job. Haven't had a job in a long time, but I think it's still the same. Every 2 weeks, right? Or every month you get paid the paycheck, all right? If someone comes into your business who has the mindset that this is like their job, and they're sending out maybe 5 days a week, you know, 1 or 2, hey, would you like to take a look? You know, I'd like to share something with you. And they're not making any money because in this example, they might be making a couple bucks or nothing in the first 2 or 3 months. You know, the average person who doesn't understand network marketing and patience, right? They'd think they're doing something wrong, when in actuality, they're doing it perfectly right. You know, a part-time person comes in here, they're touching base with 1 or 2 people a day, 5 days a week, they're just staying consistent. That's perfect. That's how most people are going to do it. Hey, it's great if you can get an Alan to come in, or who goes like crazy. That's great. We'll take those people. But most of them are what? They're going to be part-timers doing just a little bit. All right. Well, if we didn't let them know that they weren't going to be making any money possibly for the first few months, and that's perfectly fine, and giving them that mindset, what do you think would happen right here, Alan? Or what have you seen happen many times in this area? they're gone, right? They don't think it's working, all right? But, you know, but once you get out 6 months, if they're spending $100 on your products and service and they're making $150, I always teach my organization, if you can get your product paid for, they'll never quit. What incentive would they have to quit? They're using great products. They're putting $50 extra in their gas tank here. But take a look at what happens in month 7 if everybody finds just one. It goes to 64, then 128, then 256. When you're between 128 and 256, and you did it the right way in a system that an 8-year-old could teach another 8-year-old where you didn't sell, you have basically napkin present number 4. People say, am I at bedrock yet? I just say, go ahead and read or listen to napkin presentation number 4. That'll tell you. I'm constantly referring them because you want to develop self-sufficient people in your business. I'm not going to sit down and teach them. If they want to own their life, they'll read chapter number 4 again, you know, and now you've hit bedrock right here. And that building that Don was talking about, or the shovel that Alan was talking about, now that building is starting to come out of the ground. And the bigger, you want to think of your building as the biggest, as you want to think of your business as the largest skyscraper you can ever imagine. The larger the skyscraper, the bigger the income, all right? And that when you have a 125 to 300 people, that skyscraper starts going up. The base is solid. It's not going to fall down. You know, trying to get that organization from just taking off at that point, Alan and friends, is like, would be like trying to put a fire out by sprinkling gasoline on it. Like, you could not do it if you tried. It's what network marketing is all about, but hardly ever is, because most people do it incorrectly and it doesn't duplicate. Now, when you take that out to the 12th month, you know, it went from one person finding one a month and teaching everybody to do that to 2,000 people. Now, if 2,000 people were using $100 a product a month at 5%, you're making $10,000 a month. Now, we know it doesn't always work that way. I've seen people do it in 6 months. I've seen people never do it. I've seen people take 2 or 3 or 4 years to do it. How fast do you want to do it? That's up to you, you know. But I think, you know, once you get someone to this person right here, actually right here, they're in it for the long run. And, you know, you're making $10,000 a month after a year or two, you can pay your debts off pretty quickly. And I think, you know, people who are making $10,000 a month, if their debts were paid off, you know, their home, they don't have a mortgage on their home, they're living in the home of their dreams, their car is paid for, you know, their credit cards are zero balance and all that, with $10,000 a month coming in extra, and they're probably still working. Oh man, I mean, they're living better than most millionaires are. And I always like to end up, you know, how many months were in the first half of the year? 6, right? How many months were in the second half of the year? 6, right? Well, which 6-month period was more fun? Well, obviously, you know, the second 6-month period. But if you didn't teach them patience and that they were doing it correctly all along before they were making it money, they would never get to that point. So hopefully, you know, you guys and gals are able to see, stay with it. Don't ever quit. Just do-do, 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 do-do. It's actually a little bit boring and repetitious, but boy, when you get out to here, it's no longer boring and repetitious anymore, because then you own your life, time, money, and health with the people that you love the most. And that's what it's all about. That's what we want to take to the world. So thanks for letting me do my little thing there, Alan.